Take him off." "That's all," said a voice out of the depths of the nearest barge, and it was the voice of Jules, otherwise known as Mr Tom Jackson. "Hear him?" said the fat man, smiling. "He's a good one, he is. But if I was you, Mr Hazell, or you, sir, I shouldn't step on to that barge so quick as all that." They backed the boat under the stem of the nearest barge and gazed upwards. "It's all right," said Racksole to Hazell. "I've got a revolver. How can I clamber up there?" "Yes, I dare say you've got a revolver all right," Hazell replied sharply, "but you mustn't use it. There mustn't be any noise. We should have the river police down on us in a twinkling if there was a revolver shot, and it would be the ruin of me. If an inquiry was held, the commissioners wouldn't take any official notice of the fact that my superior officer had put me on to this job, and I should be requested to leave the service." "Have no fear on that score," said Racksole. "I shall, of course, take all responsibility." "It wouldn't matter how much responsibility you took," Hazell retorted. "You wouldn't put me back into the service, and my career would be at an end." "But there are other careers," said Racksole, who was really anxious to lame his ex-waiter by means of a judiciously aimed bullet. "There are other careers." "The Customs is my career," said Hazell, "so let's have no shooting. We'll wait about a bit. He can't escape. You can have my skewer if you like," and he gave Racksole his searching instrument. "And you can do what you please, provided you do it neatly and don't make a row over it." For a few moments the four men were passive in the boat, surrounded by swirling mist, with black water beneath them and towering above them a half-loaded barge with a desperate and resourceful man on board. Suddenly the mist parted and shrivelled away in patches, as though before the breath of some monster. The sky was visible. It was a clear sky, and the moon was shining. The transformation was just one of those meteorological quick changes which happen most frequently on a great river. "That's a sight better," said the fat man. At the same moment a head appeared over the edge of the barge. It was Jules' face, dark, sinister, and leering. "Is it Mr Racksole in that boat?" he inquired calmly. "Because if so, let Mr Racksole step up. Mr Racksole has caught me, and he can have me for the asking. Here I am." He stood up to his full height on the barge, tall against the night sky, and all the occupants of the boat could see that he held firmly clasped in his right hand a short dagger. "Now, Mr Racksole, you've been after me for a long time," he continued. "Here I am. Why don't you step up? If you haven't got the pluck yourself, persuade someone else to step up in your place. The same fair treatment will be accorded to all." And Jules laughed a low, penetrating laugh. He was in the midst of this laugh when he lurched suddenly forward. "What are you doing off aboard my barge? Off you goes!" It was a boy's small shrill voice that sounded in the night. A ragged boy's small form had appeared silently behind Jules, and two small arms with a vicious shove precipitated him into the water. He fell with a fine gurgling splash. It was at once obvious that swimming was not among Jules' accomplishments. He floundered wildly and sank. When he reappeared he was dragged into the Customs boat. Rope was produced, and in a minute or two the man lay ignominiously bound in the bottom of the boat. With the aid of a mud lark, a mere barge boy who probably had no more right on the barge than Jules himself, Racksole had won his game. For the first time for several weeks the millionaire experienced the sensation of equanimity and satisfaction. He leaned over the prostrate form of Jules, Hazell's professional skewer in his hand. "What are you going to do with him now?" asked Hazell. "We'll row up to the landing steps in front of the Grand Babylon. He shall be well lodged at my hotel, I promise him." Jules spoke no word. Before Racksole parted company with the Customs man that night, Jules had been safely transported into the Grand Babylon Hotel, and the two watermen had received their £10 apiece. "You will sleep here?" said the millionaire to Mr George Hazell. "It is late." "With pleasure," said Hazell. The next morning he found a sumptuous breakfast awaiting him, and in his table napkin was a Bank of England note for £100. But, though he did not hear of them till much later, many things had happened before Hazell consumed that sumptuous breakfast. End of chapter 25 and 26.